everybody for watching Stories by You. I'm your host, Farnaz Hashimpur. Tonight's guest, it's Tamika. She goes by Meek. A lot of people know her by Meek. I'm delighted that she is with us this evening. And to introduce Meek is just like there's so much that I can say about Meek. She is a wife, she's a friend, definitely a good friend to me and to so many others. She's a mother of four. She lives in Montgomery County and also a small business owner. She's an entrepreneur. So she is just doing so much for the community and also others outside of the community. So I'm delighted to have you, Meek. Thank you so much. And while you're busy all the time, you try to make everything a priority, you know, the small groups, working with church leaders and trying to create, leadership at church. And I think that's just such an important thing. And I'm grateful that you are doing all the things. I know you're also helping me with my business. So with that, tell us a little bit about your story and, really the importance of small groups. So just, I allow you to tell us a little bit more.
Okay, so I think it's really interesting how small groups became a part of my life. So in 2013, my family and I moved to Montgomery County, and we didn't want to move to Montgomery County. We were very comfortable where we were in Prince George's County, and it was just great. So if we were reluctant to move, we had misconceptions of what life would be like in Montgomery County. And so we came to Montgomery County, Maryland, and loved it, honestly. It's one of the best places to live on earth, in my opinion. But we needed to find a church. And we've been in church everywhere we lived, but we were the kind of people who just showed up on Sunday, got a good message, and left. We didn't interact with anybody. We didn't want to really be open to people. We were kind of distrustful. And so we were comfortable, but we were comfortable and unbothered in PG County, even in the churches that we were engaged in. So the very first week that we were in Montgomery County, the first church that we went to, we found online. And I just liked their domain name. It was, I think welovethischurch.com or I love this church.com. I should know this, right? So I was like, I like the domain name. And they're also, they seem to be, really trying to use the internet to reach people. And I like that idea just naturally. And so we went to that church and we never left. We never tried another church. And so
Awesome.
one of the things that was different about Journeys is that we were embraced. And so we were able to believe in this idea of a new creation. And, and we began to believe that we could be new creatures, and we began to live and exemplify, what we were reading about Jesus in an environment where other people were doing it too. And so we were just attracted to that. My husband got involved in small groups before I did because the men were playing basketball and he was just like, hey, I like to play basketball. And he formed relationships, but I really didn't. I totally didn't want to open up. I didn't want to engage. I felt a lot of shame. I also felt a lot of fear about just opening up my life to people. And so I just didn't engage on purpose. And somebody very dear to me really tried to have a relationship with me at that time, and I totally rejected her.
Oh.
And I didn't have a reason. Like I was like, why did I do that? Like she didn't hurt me, And I feel guilty about it, like to this day, because I cut myself off from a healthy person. And so someone asked me to join their small group, and they invited, me and Chris to their small group. And I saw that, small groups, they're good. They're good. It's good to know people. It's good to be known. It's good to be challenged. And I got involved in a small group, and we were, most importantly, embraced, even on a more intimate level. People knew more about us and still embraced us and showed us grace and love. And we grew. It was good soil, and we grew and we became new people. And so small groups have been such a big part of our transformation that I just think that they're healthy for other people.
So, I mean, that was actually my next question is, if you had to share your story, how did it impact your life, you and your husband?
So that's a really great story. So when you meet someone in the middle of a divorce and in the middle of a new relationship and just going through the journey, that was where I entered the journey at Journey's Crossing. So I wasn't in a real healed place. And because people were getting to know me, they were getting to know and recognize and see a lot of that brokenness on a regular basis. So if you know anyone at Journeys who knew me in 2013 and they know me now, they're like, oh my gosh, this is a totally different person. It's so funny. It's so funny. So I was hurting out in the open, and just in ways that really were just disgraceful. And yet people showed us grace, because Chris did too. And people showed us grace, and also people confronted us too. Like, it was the grit, that what we needed. And so our marriage got better because we were given the space to believe in it. We had other people around who were rooting for marriage and who were, almost like cheering us on, but also like holding us accountable, especially Barb, and especially to me. And also to Chris, but just like, oh my gosh, Barb says things to me and I'm like, man, I'm a terrible person. and it's true, it's true. But it allowed us to see ourselves in a way, and to want to give the other person space, like, because people gave us space to change, we wanted to give each other space to change.
Sure.
And it's amazing how being truly loved by people who don't share the same, blood relationship with you, but they're connected to this other relationship with God, and they help you. And so they accepted us, and it helped us to accept each other. And we're like in the newness of a new relationship. It's still new.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, what you're saying makes so much sense. Small groups are a way to make new friendships, and people that you just never would believe that if you had seen them in events or just passing by, or a neighborhood, that you can.
That's true. Well, it's even like that at church, if you think about it, right? So we met an interesting way at church, but most of the people I meet in a small group situation.
Yes.
I'm actually like a true introvert. Like, I could totally live in a book for like a year and be fine and not feel, like I'm robbed of anything. But you don't grow, like, I don't know. Anyway, but I think that most people I meet at Journeys, they have an idea of who I am, but they don't know me until they're in a small group with me, and me making the intention to show up every week.
It's very true, very true. Because
And
that's
it's the
how
same
I
way.
got to meet you, to get to know Meek. So the audience don't know, like, we met at church, but really just a quick talk or asking you to pray for me
Right.
That didn't do it until I actually started having you as part of the group, the prayer group, and then we started working together. It's like,
Right.
wow.
Right.
Meek was this quiet lady that really just doesn't say much. She's just respectful and everything, but she has so much to offer. And I
Thank you.
think the next question that I was going to ask you is, if someone wanted to start a small group, what
Mhm.
is the process and how do they start that?
So I love the idea that people want to do things. They may not think that they want to start a small group, right? Like that might not be the thing that they're thinking, but they're thinking, I want to be influential or I want to be impactful in some way. Or I think that I'm really passionate about food, or I'm really passionate about fitness, or I'm really passionate about this idea or that idea. And I want to share that with people. They may not think of it as a small group. They might think of it as a Facebook group, but my thing is we need to operate in small circles. And small groups is just another way that you can create healthy, small,
Yeah.
like circles. And at Journeys Crossing, we're just trying to provide you a safe framework to do it. You could do it without going through Journeys Crossing. But we want to equip you, like train you, and also give you a safe environment to do it, whether that's in person or virtually. So if you want to be influential in some way, or if you want to share your passion with people, that's the first thing. Like you have to want to do it. And no one's like forcing you to do it, even though we're all called to be influential for the kingdom of God if you are in the kingdom of God. So why not? But there's, I like to cook. I like to share that passion with people. I mean, not me personally, but I know that there are people who like to cook. And you might say, I want to be around people. I want to be known by people. And, so I'm going to start a cooking group. That's all you really need to have is the desire to start a group. Now, once you have the desire, we have a process where you can be trained to become a leader. So essentially and ideally, you need to be in a small group before you like decide that you're going to start a small group. We want you to experience what it's like to be cared for in a small group.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd ask that you join a small group, and we try to have enough variety of small groups that you can get connected. You can get connected in groups like serious prayer groups, like Farnaz's small group, Bible study groups like my small group in Salty. You can also get involved in activity groups like Zumba. So it's like a community center of activities.
Yes.
You choose one, you get involved in that, and then you see how it works. Well, so we're going to ask that you have been in a small group at least a semester before you host your own small group. But then you can, let us know that you want to become a small group leader. And so we have a form that you can fill out. And so you let us, your intent to become a small group leader. And then my job is to get you trained. So I am the person who develops the training for the small group leaders. And so we want to train you on how to develop people spiritually, how to recognize where people are and develop them spiritually. And just to like meet them where they are too, because you can have people in your small group who do not believe in Jesus of the Bible or don't believe in God, but
Yeah.
they are coming because they found a safe place to be loved. And that's the best place to be, before you start a relationship with God, you
Absolutely.
know. So I just, I'm passionate about it.
Yeah,
But
I love the way I mean, this is really good information that
right,
a lot of people don't understand. Is like, I hear about small groups. How do I go about doing it? Everybody else is doing it. I think just one thing that I would add, Meek, to
mhm,
being a leader of small groups, there is not, you don't have to know everything, right? So
that's definitely
if you are leading a group, that doesn't mean that you have answers. So it's okay to just say you're going to check into it, check with the coaches, whoever is training you.
right.
And it's okay to do that because life is all about growth. And
Right.
if we don't like do something, how do we learn more? So I think small groups is just about for everybody, extroverts, introverts. And it was a great way for me to learn,
Right.
just to do more and more of them. So you have just shared so many great points. With everything that you just shared, I'm just wondering, how do you observe as you see leaders of small groups? What do you see? What do you see in them, the impact in their life and how they're doing?
So what I look for um, in in small group leaders, like people that I coach, are people who really want to have impact on some scale. Like they know that their life was created for more. So that gets me excited. Like I want to work with that person. But then the type of things that I'm looking for as far as growth is like, are you developing people? Are you, like now that I'm investing my time in developing you as a leader, who are you developing into leadership? So like that's the metric of success that I don't know if that's what you're asking, but that's what I'm looking for, in my leaders is like that they are being fruitful too and developing leaders.
Yes, I think what I really wanted to know more of, as you've seen leaders of small groups,
Mhm.
what are you seeing? Are they also, do you see a change as where they didn't run a small group, but then afterwards, do you see? Because I'm seeing it. So I was just wondering if
So
you
I have definitely seen an explosion in a good way
Mhm.
of people who are interested in um, hosting small groups, but I've also seen an explosion even in the effort on my part and the directors of really clarifying the process of becoming a small group leader and supporting the small group leaders, because we have to respect that for some people in our small groups, you are the only person who are praying for them. You are the only person who is reaching out to them to check on them. And so like you are an important person in our church community and we need to invest in you. So there's been a step up in our effort to support small group leaders this semester. And there's also been a step up in new people, like our freshman class right now is awesome. Shout out to the new small group leaders.
Yes.
But there's been a lot of new small group leaders this season. And it's always been like the same people doing small groups. And we don't want you to be like small group to death. Even if you're a small group leader, like we ask that one semester you don't lead and you just participate. But most of our people who are in small groups are in multiple small groups and they
Wow.
lead some and they are participating in some because it does get kind of in a way.
Yes. Yes. But thank you so much. I mean, these are such great information, and I hope our audience have just tuned in, learned something new about, what small groups really mean, because some people might have heard of it. I hear small groups as support, encouragement, making new friends, connection with people that we would have never believed that we would have connection with.
Mhm.
We are Christ followers. You don't have to be a Christ follower, don't have to believe in God. If you just want to try it out, you may just be surprised that we're just all family. We're all here for a reason, to serve. So with that, me, thank you so much again. Is there any information that our audience can have regarding how they can get in touch with you
Mhm.
regarding small groups? If you can provide any information, what would be the best form?
So if you want to find out about small groups at Journeys Crossing, you can go to journeyscrossing.org/groups. You can also pop up at church tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but next week. You're welcome to show up on any Sunday at Journeys Crossing in Germantown. And also, you can meet with me online. I host the online church. And if you want to reach out to me personally, I am at Meek Dual, Dual, at anywhere online. So thank you so much, Farnaz, for letting me talk about my passion.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're extremely busy, but always willing to help. That's what makes you so special, lady. And I love you so much. And thank you everyone for watching. Again, thank you for such support and love that you have given me through my journey. And please, if I would ask anything, to subscribe to the YouTube channel for the upcoming guests that we will continue to have on a weekly basis. As always, thank you so much and have a great rest of your week. And we will see you the following week. Bye.